And welcome to
Oh,
the podcast that we make every Thursday now. We've moved it to Thursday.
yeah.
Thursday...
I thought it was important that we let you know the change of schedule.
Yeah.
That's probably going to change.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, maybe. It depends.
Why?
But we're kind of more set on Thursday because it kind of works better as a schedule, because then we'll upload the overclock stuff Tuesdays, podcast Thursdays, and then an extra video
slot to work with.
An extra video Saturday, which I'm sure you'll all look forward to. Which one won't be coming out this week, though, admittedly, because Harry's going on holiday. Go, Harry. Again.
I wouldn't call it a holiday.
Well, you're gone for a couple of days, the weekend. So
anyway, speaking of changes, hopefully a temporary one, we have a guest.
Yeah.
Special guest, Thomas. He's been in videos before. I'm not sure if he's been in anything since the rebrand.
Yeah, since you started changing up how
I
things
don't think
looked.
I have.
No, he was in the older tier lists, which has
Older, worse videos.
primary tier. Don't say
say.
that, because the primary tier list is our biggest, video, part 1 at least. 1,000 views.
Fake everyone gets to 1,000 views.
Is
over 1,000, right?
probably, but
Obviously,
it stops kind of counting.
It's not just stuck at 1,000.
It just shows 1,000, but yeah, that is pretty damn
Until
cool.
it gets to 2,000, which it will soon, I assume.
Yeah, I assume as well.
As much as I hope it would be, it's also not our best video. So try and watch other videos, maybe newer ones.
I know. Literally everyone who watched that is listening to this right now. So if you could just,
If that's the case, then that means this video has
Yeah.
also reached 1,000.
we did it.
Yeah.
So
Thank yous out of the way, and guest introduction out of the way. This is our first podcast where we haven't a real goal. We kind of talked about everything new with the season, and there's no new season to talk about. And it's a bit early for talking about season 3, so we will.
no, it's not.
Not for some people, and some of those people sometimes, but we'll avoid it for now. Season 3 is concerned.
We do want topics, and I have a few discussion points. But really, for this one specifically, given that it's sort of in between us coming up with topics that aren't tied to recent in-game events, what have you, we decided to just wing it for the most part. See where the night takes us, as they say.
Yeah, and
Being able to wing it would be quite an important skill.
yeah, and we
That's
have.
what most people do.
Not when you have a podcast that is entirely scripted.
I don't think people do that.
No.
Do they?
That's just audiobooks, right? That's just...
No, audio dramas, I would say.
Or radio. Stuff like that. That's scripted podcast. But that's not what this is. So
Unscripted, this is raw.
yeah.
This is,
And now I feel like we should actually start talking about Deep Rock, or I feel guilty. So,
why would we do that?
anyone have any topics that they wish to, any opinions, any thoughts and feelings? Someone interrupt me with something I'm describing. Come on.
I'm trying to think of one.
Yeah, but you're
think of it.
absolutely abysmal at thinking of things. Like,
When
terrible.
prompted.
Yeah, like, we're like, hey, Tom, can you give us a response or, like, a thought? You're like, if that.
No.
So, Harry, first thing that comes to mind when we'll talk
Salt
about
pits.
it. Salt pits. The salt pits biome. What about them?
Salty pits.
Which one's
That's
that?
gross. What do you mean? What's salt?
That's the red
the
one.
red one.
The red one. I like
The
the
red
red one. It looks
one.
cool.
It is nice.
The only thing I like about it is the piece of information that it used to be a big underground lake, and apparently the dense biozone wasn't, which sounds like horseshit, considering how many giant corals there are in the dense biozone. But sure, salt pits is a dried up, huge underground lake. Apparently, the salt tastes really good on Gliffid omelettes too.
Is that
Which-
canon?
It says it in the region description, which does that confirm or not that the alien eggs, the Gliffid eggs that we collect, are used for Gliffid omelettes? I think it.
It
I think they
confirms
are.
that they eat food that comes from Hoxies, which I think is something worth noting considering the other things that come from Hoxies being Hellspawn
Well,
and
it's not
stuff
like
like
we ever
that.
bring any Glyphids back, but we do bring back those eggs.
Well, we do, don't we? With the victory stuff, there's the
Can you
little
make
bugs,
omelets out of
swarmers.
them?
Well,
Well,
you
Like,
need-
are they like? Do you think they have the same consistency as a normal egg, and that you could
No.
eat them?
well,
no.
do normal eggs like pulsate in your hands? Is that a thing they do?
I mean, they do kind of, don't
I-
they?
No, they
No, wait,
don't.
no, but they don't. But there's
Well, it's
a
only
living thing in
because-
there, and
yeah,
you can
I think
notice
it's only
the heartbeat,
because-
I'm pretty sure.
Chicken eggs are actually probably tougher than Glyphid eggs. The shells
Yeah.
harder, so
What
you
do you
can't
mean?
see
You can
the
throw, you
pulsation.
can throw them from any height and they'll just bounce
I
around.
think it's
I'm not
because they're
convinced
rubbery.
by this.
They're not tough.
Yeah.
They're rubbery. So
You can shoot
there's
them.
words for that.
You can nuke them.
Chicken eggs have a rigid shell.
Yeah.
You can nuke the eggs and they'll be fine. I don't think it's a question about which one's more durable out of a Glyphid egg and a chicken egg.
I'm pretty sure it's a chicken egg because chicken eggs don't pulsate. So
My eggs pulsate. Sorry, that was out of pocket.
really,
I do find the eggs weird though because there's no real telling what exactly the eggs are. Because there's no actual indication that they're specifically tied to the Glyphids anyway, and they don't seem to be. They don't. It's not like. It doesn't seem like they turn into the dreadnought cocoons either. 'Cause
Well-
they're very different looking and surrounded by different materials. And when you dig out an egg, it summons any kind of enemies.
I mean, this
Doesn't a cocoon insinuate that they have like a pre-cocoon phase, like a caterpillar goes into a cocoon to become a butterfly? So there's like a
yeah,
pre-cocoon
and
phase.
it's
of
and
Victorian.
and the dreadnoughts.
Is it?
Not canon? It's not canon at all. But what is canon? Because I was looking at the bestiary for a video. What we fight, the dreadnoughts we fight, are not fully formed at all.
Well,
right? That was always a
we've been
theory,
doing that for a very
right?
long time.
But yeah, this is a confirmed fact that because when you're reading on the thing like about the dreadnoughts, each one, it's like God forbid what would come out of there if we gave them the time for each of them.
Yeah.
Like it's so. It's definitely something goes in there, which is probably. I think it varies maybe on the actual thing, but that's also the way they describe the twins makes it not a cocoon. They describe the twins as in during the mitosis or whatever, it's split into two.
Metamorphosis.
Whatever, or yeah, how twins occur in real life. That's what's described to happen in the cocoon, which doesn't make any sense because only one thing goes into the cocoon, and it doesn't suddenly turn into two things. I don't think. Or I guess it
Not how
does.
cocoons work.
Yeah. Unless maybe two things did go into the cocoon, and so they kind of existed together, drained a bit, so they're not as tough as the normal.
Or maybe it
Stuff.
would mutate during the metamorphosis.
Yeah. But I think all of this stuff's never really going to be explained,
No.
because they like
It's
their
the
light
nature
law.
of the OG law that they don't have because there's no reason to get into it because I don't think they have the capability to put together a really good story mode. But I also don't want them to just put out blocks of text just explaining everything for no good reason.
Yeah, I think especially
So just
since
keep it ambiguous keeps it interesting.
yeah, I think especially since
What you did your thing on. The ambiguity of it does make it far more interesting. You have to search for it yourself.
yeah, but then it's unrewarding in that most of the time there isn't an actual result. There is no answer. Are the omelets made out of Glyphid
It's not
eggs,
supposed to be rewarding.
or are
It's
they
supposed to stimulate the brain, get you thinking.
I suppose.
But-
Which is definitely
not
what
gonna be
Blackout
rewarding.
Stout and that's for. They are not against teasing your
Smart stout.
brain. That's the one.
I don't think Blackout Stout does anything any good for the brain. Quite
rest
opposite,
rest
really.
is good for the brain, Harry.
Yeah.
I'll have you know. So is a metric fuck ton of alcohol.
Well, not rest induced by excessive consumption of alcohol.
Would you know this, Harry? Do you know that?
A hangover, I think they call it.
Well, that's not the rest. That's what happens after you.
Hangover.
That's the waking up. Yeah.
Hangover heart.
I have thought of a topic, by the way.
Oh,
Wow.
good. In that amount of time.
Yeah,
you
we're not done
finally
with the
managed.
sulcus. So
We didn't start with the salt pits.
We'll keep
One
that. We'll keep
one
that in
is actually
backup.
quite worrying to me as a scout player.
Oh.
But also could mean to
This feels like this more interesting than a salt pit, so we'll go with this, Tom.
the crossbow is very good, and I think anyone who's used it loves it because it is amazing. It works
but that's not true,
fantastically for
though.
the scout, and
I feel like
it's power creep. It kind of makes the other two just not as good.
okay.
It's better.
I would like to preface a couple things here. First of all, I mean,
It adds so much to Scout, which was much needed. He needed just more ways of doing stuff, and the fact that it has special and standard bolts just means that he can do way more, and more status effects means he can do way more. And I don't think the other two were particularly awful, as in I really liked them before, but it's just I don't feel like I'm going to be able to play Scout to his fullest if I don't have the crossbow equipped, and also kind of with the plasma carbine, to be honest with you.
I agree with that.
now I think
Like his new weapons are just better than the old ones,
right. Well,
especially plasma carbine.
I haven't used it much. I mean, I would try to, but I probably used it about as much as you, actually, in all fairness. But currently, there are a very different opinions of that. That the crossbow is actually not that good. I mean, I think it can be. I mean, it recently got nerfed. So I guess there was something there. With the pheromones, there was something there. There was far too many pheromones in the thing. They did something else, didn't they? The acid thing was glitched to be better than it actually is. So it's kind of been nerfed in that regard, which isn't really a nerf. It's more of a fix, but it's in the end, it's a nerf. But so yeah. But then I mean, you use the firebolt, right? Can you honestly tell me you would rather use that over the boomstick with fire?
I'm not using the firebolt.
I would.
I'm using the specialist, so I have even more.
Yeah, but the thing is though, Tom, is I think that is the only viable build on the crossbow. Specking into the default bolt just doesn't seem to be a good idea at all. I mean, obviously, I've not experimented with this as much. I don't really think Harry, you have. But like, as far as I'm concerned, the only things that people are celebrating is the pheromone bolts. The only thing I like is the.
I think the standard bolts would be
acid
very
bolts.
effective.
Yeah, you think that, but you haven't tried it, so.
No, I will when I get all the overclocks for it. But it's just because.
Yeah, but so far they're not. That's just a simple matter of the fact. The firebolt is a standard bolt. You know how terrible that is.
If you upgrade the damage on it. On the standard bolts, it can be doing about as much as a charge shot of the M1000 when you kit that out for it, and also then having special bolts as well.
Yeah, but you're now comparing it to the M1000, and I think you need to be aware of what you're saying. But
oh yeah, the M1000. But like I said, also not just the crossbow, but the plasma carbine.
Yeah, no, and that is the thing. There is because I saw this quite recently actually, a statistical, the GK is worse than the other two. It is just worse. It does less damage. It is statistically worse than the other two guns.
And you have to reload it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
It's alright when we do like the Bullets of Mercy, and it was quite good before, but plasma carbine just does what it does better.
I didn't realise the M1000 used a battery.
Yeah, I didn't realise what it said there, but yeah.
I think that's one of the most analog guns in the game.
Yeah, but apparently, I mean, even though I do not like the M1000, I think it is apparently just better than the GK. So I think and also you mentioned that the effects that the weapons do. Scout has never struggled dealing with effects. All right,
You mean
like just that the crossbow makes it even better.
Yes.
While also not.
I mean, yeah, but also yeah. Like he can deal two types in the one gun, which is admittedly cool and all. But like, he's not really doing anything new. Like you can do pheromones, which he could already do. Acid
can do it
is
so
new.
much more.
Yeah, I know, but it's still
while also still having like cryo grenades.
Yeah,
or IFGs.
but you could also then
kit the IFGs out with other things as well, and then you could like use the IFGs, use the magnetic shafts, and you could have pheromones. You'd have pheromones and magnetic shafts which you'd use with the IFGs.
Yeah, and this is a very good build, but I don't think it
Like,
inherently
it's more
means
versatile,
that
and
the
it hasn't even
crossbow.
been in the game that long. Like when it has been, and I've been able to like experiment more with it and find a bunch of like other builds that are a bit more niche. I think it's going to be way better than it is now, and even now it's good. Just with the obvious build of kitting it out for pure special bolt pheromone abuse. 'Cause I've got 21
Pheromone
bolts.
abuse. Do you,
21 pheromone bolts. Like,
'Cause they
I
nerfed
don't
the
even have
amount
to use
you
them
can
that sparingly.
have.
It hasn't gone down. It was 17 and it still is 17, but I just put specialist on so it goes up to 21, which also increases the duration of them as well to 16.9 seconds of pheromone with 21 bolts.
Yeah, I've got
Like-
21 pheromone bolts.
That is just crazy.
I mean,
And
pheromones
it's
really are.
still going to be good. Like I haven't even used the chemical explosion stuff yet because I want to like get pheromones
Pardon
down
me?
first, and then I'll move on to other stuff when I get more overclocks.
Chemical.
But yeah, no,
explosion.
I feel like it has so much to offer, and we haven't even like scratched the surface.
And
of
yet,
what
I
it can do.
said that in my for me, because both probably going to be the one that I stop using the soonest.
Well, the thing is, I'm probably going to use the crossbow more than the other ones, but I don't think it's because I think it's better than the other ones, but because the Zhukovs I think are pretty solid. Zhukovs are
Yeah.
in a very good place. They do cryo, which is nice, and they did it in a very good way. They deal very high damage with the embedded detonators.
You can also
Probably
build
best
them for just
single
ammo
target.
as well.
Ammo,
Best
speed,
single target damage in the game.
they are very good. Right, they are fine, and I think they don't buff or nerf. They're like the solid middle ground. I think if you've watched our secondary video, the boomstick sucks wank. I think.
I very much disagree, and I'll give a very brief,
And so does most
very
of the
brief,
community.
Yeah,
just because it's the only Scout's only way to do splash, and it's quite
Not
good
anymore.
at it.
Far
Yeah,
from
not
it.
anymore.
Much better options now too.
And I just really like it. It works fantastically with how I like to play the game, but I understand why most people don't like it.
But Tom, you like it
'Cause
for
it is-
special powder, don't you?
I do like, but I can also then use it for special powder and use it as a normal shotgun. Like if I
yeah.
make
But
it
so
it
what
fires
are you
one off the
saying,
other
Tom?
instantly,
So
with all this,
with all this being said, would you still pick the crossbow over the boomstick?
I would, and I do. As much as I like special powder and I rely on it so much to like traverse incredibly quickly, and I use it in combat as well to like get out of situations and to fight, and I also I like doing a strategy where I like jump on top of them while also doing damage with the shotgun, so I never take any damage whilst killing things. But the crossbow, I just really like it. It's got so much potential of dealing with everything that Scout had problems with, and it also helps the team more with pheromones.
Yeah, I mean the pheromones really are. I
Yeah.
don't think they're even holding it up single-handedly, but they are doing a lot for it.
Yeah, just obviously that's such an obvious build though, specializing for pheromones, and I think it has far more to offer that we just haven't figured out yet.
Pheromones, the podcast. That's what it's going to be by the end of it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I've yet to actually interact with the thing using pheromones. I pure acid with it, but except I've used pheromone grenades to help with the acid. I use pheromone grenades to bring them all together. Acid one, detonate all of them basically, which is a pretty nice little thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty good combo.
Especially since now with the fix that is kind of a nerf, it actually isn't going to do enough damage to like kill all grunt variants.
Well,
so
about that, it was inconsistent. It was sometimes doing more damage than it should. So your experience with it hasn't been wholly unrepresentative of truth.
But with the pheromones and them hitting each other, it tends to clear up the little bit of damage that it wouldn't do against the tougher variants, which is so. I mean, I think I do agree with you. It is quite good, but I don't think it in any way invalidates the other ones. I think it's a bit of just recency bias. I think it's new. It's interesting.
It might be recency bias.
Well, I think it
But
definitely doesn't
we'll see.
invalidate the Zukos.
We'll see when it's been in the game for longer.
Yeah.
On subject of the Zukos, though, I think as fantastic as they can be, I think the Zukos they're not actually great as just normal weapons, if we're being honest. It's like, it has more than 2 unstables. It has 3, but it's those 2, cryo miners and embedded detonators, are the 2 pillars of the Zukos, and they do make it really they are really fantastic.
I think they're
without them, it's not anything special.
and I'm not saying overall. I'm saying pure Zukov. Those are its S tier build, right? Those are the ones that if you want to actually use the Zukovs and like Hazard 5.5 deep dives, you ought to be whipping these motherfuckers out, right? And like having a good build to support them. But
I think the Zukovs were better with the plasma carbine being added as well, because the plasma carbine's such a reliable.
well, yeah, the plasma carbine can also
electricity.
deal electricity and fire, so you have a temperature shock build now. But yeah, it is like I kind of lost myself now. Thanks, Thomas.
Sorry.
You
guys are
it's fine.
Zukov fanboys.
Yeah, well, no, the Zukovs, like you can have battle frenzy and like reload and shit, and you can have a really fun build where you're just really quick. You just and you fly off, and it's like really fun as hell. Does piss through your ammo. It just evaporates, right? But honestly, with Scout, that's kind of just his thing. You don't have ammo, which is right. You have to always be like temperamental when you actually choose to pick fights and stuff like that.
Well, I felt that way about the plasma carbine when it first came out. I thought this feels like it goes out very quickly, but it's actually probably Scout's most ammo efficient weapon.
Yeah, I think it probably is,
especially with the recent changes to aggressive venting.
Crossbow's really good with ammo.
But, can I just say, it's crazy that they changed aggressive venting on the plasma carbine to a clean. Like, that's nuts.
Never used it.
It's one of its best, to be honest. It's definitely one of its best.
I think you are using it. The
plasma carbine is such a good selection, though.
Has it got 7 overclocks? Because I've only got 6 of them for plasma.
Yeah, it's got 7.
Yeah, that's the only one I don't have. That you're talking about.
I mean, only one of them is at least. There's only one of those overclocks that isn't interesting, at least in some way. The plasma carbine is such a good selection of upgrading overclocks. It's just.
What one do you think's not really interesting?
What do you think? Thermal liquid coolant. It's just a normal clean. Yeah, but it's not interesting. Like, obviously it's good. It's just a normal clean.
Yeah, no, like it's like so many of them just kind of make it different. Like there's the one that like. Like 2/3 your ammo. Like you get like a third of your ammo
takes away about a third.
Yeah. And then but then it kind of gives you back whenever you overheat. So I think technically you get more ammo overall, but if you use it wrong, then it's just not going to happen.
No.
So it's got like a ton of really cool, interesting ways of using it, and it's just very good as like a gun. like you can just shoot and they die.
Shield battery booster.
You can like shoot, swap out to another gun, and then go back to it because it just cools down.
Oh yeah.
You don't even need Born Ready on it.
Well, speaking of
swapping, I always had on the Scout before.
Speaking of swapping, it's probably my biggest criticism of the crossbow mechanically, is that it feels kind of awkward to go from I want to be able to shoot a special bolt and then swap instantly to standard bolts, but you have to reload first and then switch, so you basically do 2 reloads in a row.
Yeah, I wish
that you could like press reload as soon as you shoot the bolt, and then you would load in the other bolt.
That has quite thrown me off a lot.
I've been multiple times caught died because of a couple of times where I'm like, okay, I have a horde of grunts, I'm going to switch out, use the acid bolt, and I have to reload the acid bolt, and they just fucking murder me. I'm like, oh, cool beans, nice. I mean, probably the acid bolt wouldn't have saved me, but it would have cleared out the things and stuff like that.
It felt most prominent acid bolt to me. Pheromone bolts are they're just always going to be good, but
Born Ready makes it a lot more pleasant because it's always reloaded then whenever you pull it out.
Well, Born Ready makes just about everything more pleasant.
Yeah.
Except. Well, obviously there's things that Born Ready's useless on, but the Shard Diffractor is a weapon that has a magazine, but doesn't need Born Ready either. It just reloads itself even when you're not using it. It's just kind of nuts.
I mean, the Shard Diffractor is nuts. There's not much we can say about it. It's just an engineer secondary. I think it's probably the one that I think is I don't know about how, because I think the coil gun and the Shard Diffractor is just the ones that just fit for the secondaries. Like that I don't think it changed the character like at all, but are just good and just slotted in.
No, because I appreciate that you worded it that way, because you didn't necessarily say the others are bad, even if you might feel that way. I'm not sure if you do. You don't really like the wave cooker, though, do you?
Well, that's the thing.
I do.
Well,
I understand that it's
I
quite
think,
different, but I
yeah.
actually really like it.
Well, it's I don't know. It's just kind of useless, to be honest. It's just doing nothing new, really.
But to me, it's just doing so much.
Yeah,
so many different
so
things,
much
and
unneeded stuff. We already had temperature shock in the EPC. Like the radius thing is cool and all, but it's not necessary. Like it's not helping anyone really, and it's kind of like you keep switching it out to just for no real positive. I mean, it's just a waste of time. I
don't know. I just find it fun to use, and I don't. The thing is, you might be right that it's useless, but it can't actually be useless. There's no reason, because it's part of your arsenal, and I've managed to build it in a lot of different ways where I feel like I don't miss the EPC right now, which is one of the highest compliments I can pay, frankly. I don't miss the EPC all the time when I'm using it. It's like I'm actually happy that this is my secondary, or at least I'm okay with it. I don't feel like there's something missing when I build it the right ways. Like I like it. I actually like it more to sludge pump than anything else, to be honest. And there's this crazy AoE build that I came across for it. I can't remember who came up with it, but I'd like to thank them anyway, because it's just so much fun and it doesn't rely on the primary either. But that's the way it's a real problem, though, isn't it? It's like it's like a driller primary masquerading as a secondary, and that's why it feels unnecessary.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
What a bitch.
But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, yeah, it's different compared to the other two, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but it's still there, right? You know what I mean? Like the other ones are just pistols, right? And this is not that.
But look, I don't think I'm ever going to use the Sabata again. No.
Yeah, the Sabata definitely does need something else to it. It does. It needs some form.
Can't do anything to it. It's just such a simple weapon. You can't. What can they do? What do you think they can do?
They need to just add something to it. Like, I don't know, radiation, electricity, or probably not that, but like just have it do something else, right? like anything.
I would definitely rework its 5th tier upgrades. They're quite primitive because it's like
they're
one
just
of them
the fire
bullets,
and the fire and
where it does
Mactera, right?
Yeah. I've got this.
It seems to be that in general, really. Just the new, just for a lot of them, I don't even know power creep, but it's just the older guns don't necessarily seem to fit into what the game is now.
With the
minigun does.
The game's grown a lot, and some of
the new weapons are so much more complicated than the original lot. So much more complicated. Like there's so many new, more unique elements to them than the old ones used to be. And
it's mainly this generation, though.
Yeah, this
3rd gen, not 2nd gen. Really
second gen was pretty similar to the other ones, introducing a couple new things, which is good. They need new things, but yeah, these new ones, like each and every weapon has introduced a new something that it like dicks around with, and it's like, oh my god, calm down, please.
I'm not sure the shard diffractor really has done that, though.
No, not the fact that it has a clip, but it reloads itself.
Well, that's something, but it's not. It doesn't define the gun to me. And the fact that
it leaves a trail on the wall so you can draw penises with.
Yeah.
It does plenty of new things.
It's not that bad for some
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's just something of note that I think the older weapons, I don't think they're falling behind in terms of strength, but in terms of simplicity, they are the blander options now. They are less interesting, and obviously I think some of them they compensate for it being fucking cool enough to begin with, like the minigun and that, and having good enough overclock. I think the minigun has held its ground the best, as it feels the newest out of the original bunch. Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think
it feels most in line with everything.
People are still head over heels over the flamethrower, like, which is at this point in time, the flamethrower has gotten a new life. I am willing to admit, with the robots, which not now season 2, but when the seasons arrive, with the addition of the robots, the flamethrower shot up, as far as I'm concerned, of actually usability.
It just wasn't viable, and now really.
I mean, people would argue
really
with that,
important.
and I think I might argue with that.
That is the only thing that everyone has their own opinions or whatever. But I think the flamethrower was just worse. It
Tom,
always was
you
worse.
haven't really been there for these discussions where we talked about how a lot of our opinions on the game have come from a very Hazard 5 focused perspective, and the flamethrower, I would say, is still, regardless, putting the robots aside, it's really only the Sticky Flames build that is viable on Hazard 5, because that's where people rave on about it, but I don't like that build, by the way. I don't like it.
I just have to disagree with that now. Like, I think... I mean, ignoring the robots, which is obviously a strong positive, right? You bring a flamethrower to the mission. What if you bump into a nemesis prospector? They're dead. They don't stand a chance, right?
Prospector.
Which is
you need to set those on fire.
no, but they summon the robots that you can then insta kill.
Yeah, prospector or deposit.
Yeah, but if you bump into robots, they don't stand a chance, and you can guarantee that you bump into them. So it's a good viable pick as is. But without that, I think I never realised that the heat builds and just setting the enemies on fire is just very good. It's just like hordes of grunts; they just don't stand a chance.
Yeah,
like,
this is actually why I kind of don't mind the fire bolts. By the way, I use them a little bit, and especially combined with the pheromones, you can sort of like. In a group of grunts, you can pheromone the guard and put the fire bolt on the guard, and it'll spread the fire so that whole group of grunts is going down with one firebolt. So it works in that sense. It's not good for single target. It takes away single
and
target
it takes time, right? It's not just like BON. Like it takes a long while.
Felt really good with it, I think.
Yeah. And like same with the flamethrower. Like it doesn't stop the enemies from getting to you. If they're there, the flamethrower is not going to do anything about it. You're dead, right? like I mean, I think if you put face melter, it might, but face melters. I think
don't like
face melter is probably the only way you're actually going to be killing like Praetorians with the flamethrower and dreadnoughts, right? You don't really want to be using anything other than face melter.
What neurotoxin does. Like, I mean, but you can kill them before they get to you.
Yeah, but the thing with neurotoxin though, Tom, and with the Thunderhead and why it's so good as it is that you have rage. You can shoot enemies at the other side of the goddamn globe with the Thunderhead and neurotoxin them up, or get them all nice and dead, right? But meanwhile, the flamethrower, the only time you can apply the slow time to kill, it's not that slow, but the time to kill effect is when they're already too close, really. Like, so you have to kind of get them the second they enter your range for them to die before they can hit you, which isn't the best, but it does kill grunts with very little ammo most of the time. Like it's just like, and it's like 3 or 4 ammo and like a mini swarm if you line them up correctly are just gone. And for a primary that has like 400 ammo if you want them, especially if you go for ammo build and heat build, it's very solid. Like it just works. Like, and I think our hatred to it is not warranted. It's probably only due to the fact that I was using it and that I was doing incredibly shit with it.
Well, there was so a while ago we really got tired of case about using flamethrower. Me and Tom very much so believed that the cryo cannon was king, and it is.
It's just because we started playing Driller.
Well, no, Tom, I forgot something about it that I brought up recently to Tyler. That you used to just do nothing but just spin around while shooting it. And that probably got us annoyed with you.
We'd just take a ton of damage and you do nothing to the enemy.
You took like no damage, but you just took enough damage so your shield never regened and you just got murdered.
It meant that we didn't have any health, so we just die.
Well, and it was more,
because we're always on fire.
I think it was that I ran the flamethrower to just shoot mindlessly at things and dick around with it, and then I used the cryo a bunch, like because it's very, very good, which has taught me how to like conserve ammo, shoot only when I have to, and at the enemies even. You know what I mean? So I think now going back to the flamethrower, I realise that if you treat it like an actual gun that deals damage and you don't have to just go nah, and it will eventually kill them, then it's very good.
It's also really good against bacteria because they have a weakness to it, and I mean obviously freezing bacteria feels more effective, but the flamethrower still does a lot of damage to them, and it just cleaves through hordes of smaller enemies, certainly.
Yeah, and it's not particularly good against the big guys, but also like other than they're not really immune to fire either. Like fucking oppressors, they can be immune to basically everything other than fire, and I guess corrosion. But
and cryo.
Yeah. But then again, cryoing that guy isn't the easiest thing in the world either. You're gonna spend a lot more ammo.
I don't know, but I mean, speaking of that other fella, the Sud Pump. Well, I wanted to say, because we talk about weapon generations. The third generation encompasses what was added in season 1 and 2. So the most recent new primaries and secondaries.
Yeah.
What do we think are? Well, I think out of those 8, the top 3, and you'll probably agree with me on this, Tyler.
I don't have
Plasma
much to say
carbine,
about this.
sludge pump, and shard diffractor.
Oh,
That's pretty solid,
right. Well, I'm trying to think of the options. Right, sludge pump has recently gotten buffed. I mean, considering previously,
it was already really great.
I
It's
thought
my favorite
that,
driller primary by far.
Yeah, I thought that it was like fine. It's awkward as hell to use, right? Like it's not something I want to use, but if I can or like feel like it is perfectly holding up even in 1905s. But like then yeah, there's the plasma carbine, which I think is immediately became like my scout thing. Like it got me using scout, really. Like I always kind of played him sometimes when I was promoting, but like I actually played scout for a period of time.
I would say the same.
When the SMG came out, and it was
SMG.
well, I know it's an assault rifle, but it's fast firing, small damage per bullet.
Sorry, the smart rifle's an SMG. The plasma carbine is not.
Go die in a hell.
That's what it says.
Yeah, and then smart rifle, which
and the coil gun's a pistol.
well, like smart rifle that is fine. I mean, I think now you'd say that executioner is amazing and all that, but I think I don't know. I never really fell into it, but I think you're not really saying anything that special. Shock horror, engineer secondary is really good, right? It's gonna be a given. I think the Hurricane is disappointing, right? I don't think anyone can disagree with that.
I can't disagree with you.
Homing rocket launcher, right? You're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then you can see the Hurricane, and it's just not that. It's like got AOE, but it's not as good as the Thunderhead. It's accurate.
The Thunderhead.
It's accurate, but it doesn't do that much damage compared to like the minigun. It's just kind of worse, and it does fire. Which, why does it do fire? You got the minigun. The minigun.
I have no problem with the upgrade, but it doesn't do anything interesting with status effects in the overclocks.
So is the Hurricane the only new
weapon?
the only new weapon that hasn't gone too well?
No.
I would say of the primaries, I think the Hurricane is probably the worst of. I would say, I think publicly speaking, it is like. I think a lot of people. I mean, the Good Cannon I think is a refined taste, and by that I mean it's a savage taste. If you like the Good Cannon, you're an animal. And
it's also the best taste. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean it's something that is not the best to get used to, but it's definitely worth doing it. And so
you
the
drink on a daily basis,
especially since it's got buffed.
Goo.
But yeah, and then I think Harry despised the smart rifle, but I think generally people quite like it. Like I think everyone kind of thinks it should do with a bit more ammo, like give it a bit more ammo, but otherwise people like it. But yeah, and the Drac is the Drac. It kills shit, takes names, fucks bitches.
Lo and behold, it be the simplest weapon in terms of concept. I wonder why it ended up being the. I should probably stop going on about that.
Yeah, you should. Or make a video on it. Double down.
No.
Point is, yeah, the Hurricane's disappointing. It was really strong at some point, but even then, I think people didn't particularly love it. They just acknowledged it was strong.
Well, it was only due experimental branching, really. Plasma burster missiles was the new god. The new neurotoxin. It was like the most overpowered thing.
And there was mine layer heat as well. That was the thing.
No, I don't think so. But mine layer has become quite good, to be honest. One of the better ones. But the heat thing was a thing, because what it was Napalm's rounds being a 5th tier upgrade for the Hurricane, it added 50% of the weapon's damage as heat. It got nerfed heavily, but it's now been buffed up a little bit, where it's a 33% conversion. So you actually lose 33% of your base damage for heat, instead of adding 50%. So you can see why that was quite powerful. It just made dealing with groups of enemies so trivial. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, I do think the Hurricane was a bit of a flop, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sad to say. I wish it was heavier.
I'm basically just playing a later version of the game.
Yeah, you
said nothing.
Tom here, he skipped
2 guns.
Yeah. I mean, Tom skipped.
Basically skipped season 1.
Yeah, he did not play at all season 1. I mean, he hadn't played for a while, but what he won the significance is season 1. Tom, what's your thoughts on Swarmageddon?
I want to do some Swarmageddon.
Imagine you've probably done your second Swarmageddon mission somewhat recently. So
yeah, I think I have played 1 mission, if that, maybe 0.
Well, it was on a deep dive.
It was right now.
It was on one of our deep dives. I'm pretty sure.
Pardon me. Sorry, I should probably stop burping.
I have not played a single Swarmageddon mission.
Well, is that 0 out of 1?
Yep, 0 out of 1.
Okay, so yeah, Tom has not played much recently. He played a lot,
a lot.
Yeah,
a lot a while ago.
At one point.
A very long time ago. You shot up. You were level 300 and something, or very close to it. I think 290, and then you just stopped playing. And
I got to 280 and then stopped. I'm at 295 right now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've rocketed past you.
The daily deal right now is sell 186 jadis to get 19,999 credits.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I like that.
It's nice. 215% profit.
Yeah, the daily deals was a really weird introduction, right? No one was asking for that. They were really just let's just add this. Let's just do this. Let's just. I mean,
it is nice though.
That might have been
stuff that's pleasant.
It might have been a very light application of trying to get people to play daily, because they didn't really.
No, I don't think it was, because I don't. The daily deal is never going to motivate me to start up the game.
Obviously
need that.
But I think it was the only daily thing they added until the seasons.
But then again, imagine if you're not us and you don't have thousands of all the minerals and hundreds of thousands.
Bold of you to assume I have all that.
Okay, me and Harry. So imagine you're a new player, right? And you actually need to remember when we actually get to think about our mineral count.
I remember those.
Yeah, I do.
Imagine if in the daily deal you hop on and you are desperately needing cropper for your.
Well, the thing is that the deals that way round aren't that good. They're really not.
No. But you can get 300%. It's stuff like that, and you could get so much more.
Selling, you get a lot.
Terrible.
But I guess it's better, but it's
the
not...
daily deals are technically always profitable, at least for credits, because if the daily deal is where you buy minerals, you'll still be able to sell it back for more than you paid for, but usually not by much.
Yeah, and when you have so much, you might as well, because you're just going to make credits or make minerals.
But speaking of daily things, honestly, when it comes to seasonal model, I think the best thing in terms mechanically, in terms of in-game systems that they added, was daily missions.
Yeah.
I don't know if we agree here.
Well, yeah. I mean, as mentioned, until then, the only daily thing they had were those deals, which, as mentioned, aren't that appealing. So this was an actual reason to play daily, which they never had before. Before, if I felt like it, I would hop on every Thursday.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I would request or hope would be added in regards to this is that the level because there was a little bit of sharing of people getting really high levels on the pass, just after completing it. There was somebody who got to level 300 or something. I don't think it's a big ask either. If our levels
I just
were
bought
shown
all the
somewhere,
cosmetics for engineer.
If a performance pass level was shown somewhere, like for previous seasons, but that stat remained in the game somewhere. Because that would make the daily missions, the daily challenges, remain valuable. Even after you finish the pass.
Second, you beat the pass. Well, no, because you beat the pass and you can still have the other one to do. But once both of those have been done, whichever order it happens in, you do lose that daily reason to play. So it goes back to how it originally was of weekly, if that.
You still get that daily challenge. You get that daily directive. But if it's not directly leading towards a reward, or if it doesn't have some kind of in-game permanence, it loses value once you've completed the pass. Yeah. So your performance pass level, if that stat was retained somewhere in game, that would be lovely. That'd be something.
Yeah, the stat, or maybe increase the reward. Maybe not like you're still 500 per tier, but maybe every 10th tier you get some phase unite, something like that. That would keep people leveling up in the past.
What would keep me leveling up with it? What's the point in giving me a phase unite after completing the pass?
What's the point of giving you anything? Nothing you would get given there you would want, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So at least some people, phase unite helped by last season's stuff, and I think the most requested thing, be it indirectly, is actual content for people that are done. That is what people want, and more people will want over time, and they can't keep ignoring.
No, which is
like more promotions.
It's a thing that I didn't really realise as well.
More titles as well.
Yeah, more.
You just said that there'll be more people in the position that I'm in. It'll keep going up, that number.
Yeah, as we've probably been talking, someone's probably just reached the point. Someone's just gotten the final upgrade and has promoted all their dwarves and they've gotten everything. That is probably, actually maybe not. But
no, I don't think so.
Today, probably. Very likely.
I think so. That sounds relatively likely.
Yeah. And that's going to keep happening until eventually, obviously, there's probably going to be a lot more new players still, right? But there is going to be a very sizable amount of people that will have to stop playing, not because they don't enjoy the game, but because there's no reason to play it. And I think if they're going to keep ignoring that is dumb. That is just dumb. It is to ignore, especially the people that are most passionate about the game.
Of stuff as well because of inflation. Stuff's easier to get now. Just like with that, say
phase unite, it is actually easier. Yeah.
Like just all that stuff that's being added. It is just stuff is slowly inflating, and if they add more and more stuff, which they are, it's just you get more credits, you get more XP.
There is also with the 2 warnings, you're then getting more minerals and more money. So it also is if people increase the hazard, they're going to have to increase the payload, which then more people are going to get more money, which means inflation is going to kick in even more.
I don't think double warnings exist for the sake of the reward.
I know, but it is a consequence of adding it. And the same if they increased the difficulty.
That it is happening.
Yeah, if they increased it, if they made a hazard 6, or they did a thing where it's harder, they would have to pay out to reward that. I would imagine, right? That's kind of how games work,
idea.
Right? What, Eric?
Well, we sort of have 2 core ideas of how we could help promotions. 2 very easily implementable ideas. The first one is where you go back to unpromoted after Legendary 3 and just have a number.
Just a tally.
Do that over and over again. And the other one is even simpler, where it's just a new promotion tier, but instead of stars, it's just a number that keeps going up.
Yeah.
I might actually prefer that one a little bit more, because it's much more obvious.
Yeah, I think I would as well.
And I like the idea of the promotion assignment itself changes, so that every mission is a double warning.
And to have just a number, so it's just 56 or something below it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Well, no, I mean,
and it's like a black border with a number on the top. Or something.
I mean, I don't think you meant it seriously, Harry, but that is dumb, right?
the assignment thing.
Yeah, they specifically don't ever want to make anyone do a double warning, right? That's what they are actively pushing towards. Especially he probably even has 5 missions. They never want to force people to do it. But I think I think it is weird that they haven't done that. Come on, it's I can't imagine it's that hard to do.
Unless they're already planning some more elaborate post-game
But I don't
content.
want it to be more elaborate.
But it's like if they were to add like 3 to 5 more things where it goes like plutonium and it's like a purple ring around.
I don't want them to add that shit.
That is just a waste of time. Actually, maybe add plutonium and then make it the numbers so that it's always
They could
purple.
add that
I like
when they add
purple.
the numbers.
Yeah, like that should be like not everything in the next season, but a season. Do that, right? Just increase the ceiling to preferably infinite, right? But maybe do both, yeah. So add like an extra 3 levels and then add like numbers with like a cool looking background. Like so instead of the red ones, which the red legendary background is pretty cool, like the red legendary. But maybe
some guy just went past on a unicycle. That's baller.
Maybe fuck you, Harry. Maybe like a rainbow one, or I mean, I think that's like, I mean, actually, I think it was reskins is a mod of those stuff. I think someone reskinned like platinum to have a rainbow like icon around it. But
yeah, I think legendary is purple in that mod.
Yeah, so just maybe just kind of do that because I can't imagine, like, obviously it will take effort, it will take coding, it will take the visuals, but I can't imagine it's much. Like comparing it to the new enemy.
Me so much.
Yeah.
I'm their most valuable customer.
Yeah,
Right?
well, no, because it's like it is.
Just because every time you play now, it's a waste of XP.
The people who love the game the most are the ones that's getting like the least care, really. Like, I mean, well, not obviously not, but like,
I do.
When I get legendary 3 on my scout, I just won't play him anymore because I don't want to. I just don't. I mean, I will eventually,
that's
but
fair.
I just don't. I just feel like it's a waste.
It is because I still play Driller, like what I was mentioned with the flamethrower. I falling back in love with the flamethrower, but it's I feel dumb for playing it because the promotions are so expensive. Yeah, like I think I promoted him like 4 times now, and I'm not keeping count because I refuse to, because I expect them at some point to add something, and they are definitely keeping track, right? Because Harry, do the actual amount you have to pay keep going up when you promote after? Yeah. So if the payment's still going up, they are keeping track of how many times you promoted after the maximum.
That's automated though.
Yeah, and
but there's still a way to notice. Like,
they
see how much your next promotion is, and then track how much.
Yeah, they know how many times you've promoted. So if they were to do this, they could easily just boom. Harry, you're probably what? Like, I imagine. I
can tell you. Engineer. So my engineer.
Let's just go legendary
I did it
number.
In terms for tally, it goes. It doesn't start after 3. So the first 3 are included in the tally. So my engineer is legendary 18.
18?
Yeah.
See? And imagine having that visually represented.
Can I back that up by saying...
That'd be such a alpha thing to have.
When I first got my engineer to Legendary 3, I didn't play him until I got everyone else to Legendary 3.
I know.
And it's even then, I've done 15 promotions since.
Yeah, and like, bear in mind that as far as everyone is concerned, that engineer is identical to just someone that just promoted. Like, if I were to just... Obviously, I play it quite a lot, but like, yeah.
Something needs to change.
Like, it is just such a thing that it's just... Like, yeah, they can put it off. Clearly they can, and they could continue to do so. But
I think we should do a video about post completion.
I think
ideas and stuff, because it's a big thing. Yeah. And we can try and brainstorm some ideas about it. And
I think you would definitely argue that the people that this affects directly are the people that are most passionate with the game. That's what I don't understand.
Exactly.
Like, the people that would spend the most money into the game, the people that love the game the most, that are dedicating their lives to it, are the people that they are ignoring, which is us. We're special. Come on.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard problem for most games that the people who've played it the most kind of do get left behind, because there's more new players than there are old players.
Yeah, and
I think the point we need to drive home though is that we're not asking for much. I don't expect Ghost Ship to suck the dicks of everyone who's got 100 days playtime. Just something.
Literally a tally. Literally add a couple lines above the above the visuals of dwarves, and that is it. The amount of people that you would just be satisfied. And if they complain, screw them, right? Because like expecting any more is unreasonable, but it's just so little effort and like actual like implementation for so much reward.
Yeah, because the point is that idea of adding more promotions in a way where it just goes up as a number, that is a tied directly to the reason that people like me keep playing anyway.
Yeah.
It's not actually adding anything new to strive towards. It's what I was doing up until I got everyone to Legendary 3. I'd already bought every upgrade in the game at that point.
Yeah, that sort of stuff is completed quite early on. Like, what is it, like
Yeah.
level 75 or something? Like 100, we got everything?
Because when it comes down to it, we're not asking for anything new.
Not to mention, like as
We
far
had all
as
the overclocks,
like
everything,
the blue
everything
number
left
is
by the
concerned.
shop out.
The blue number is concerned. What's it up to? When do you get
Level up.
Scale Brigade? That's level 100, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So level 100. Lord of the Deep is level 150, I think, right? That's when that
Oh,
kicks in.
75.
I think it might actually be 75. Those titles go up very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have added, scale mail shit, and then
Forgot about scale.
and yet you still just Lord of the Deep. And if they keep doing that, which is fine, I think that scale mail thing, adding armor at certain levels is quite good. I think that will definitely reward people for going through those milestones, right? But then they're rewarding the milestones without acknowledging that they exist by just continuing to have Lord of the Deep, right? And it's just like, okay, so I've just reached.
We're not asking for armor at like level 500 though, or some shit.
I'm
we
not
can see why
now,
you can add that.
but
Things that some stuff is locked to a lot of the player
but
base. Just numbers, just to show how much Harry's
But a
played.
border around my player icon, I deserve it.
And it's not just us, right? I feel like if you were to ask anyone that's passionate about the game, they're not going to refuse this idea, right?
I haven't
Plenty
even
of
got
people
legendary
high level
3
than
on any of my characters.
Yeah,
yet.
you ask anyone, and you were like, okay, so there is a plateau of player visual level, right? Would you want there to be higher? Everyone's gonna say yes. If you did this, nobody would be like, oh, these bastards! I can't believe they made it so it's infinite, and so they can visually represent how much people have played the game. This is ridiculous.
Can I say what makes this objectively a problem is the fact that your player level, the blue level, isn't displayed in game.
Yeah.
When you're in a mission, it's a point. You don't see their blue level.
It's only in the lobby.
No one sees the fact that I'm level 800.
Yeah, it's only after the fact do you know that you have an absolute mad lad that spent far too much time on the game.
It's especially funny for Tyler, but when a while ago when you just got your Legendary 3 Driller, Legendary 3 Driller, you were level 200 something, but you hadn't played any of the other characters.
Yeah,
at all.
I speedran Driller so hard, so they probably thought they
hadn't
had
even promoted your scout, so you joined it as an unpromoted scout.
I thought Engineer was the latest one you promoted.
I think it was Engineer actually. Yeah. No. But yeah,
joined with an unpromoted Engineer then, and you just. I just remember you as Scout because you
Scout is not much higher.
First time.
Yeah, the Scout.
You played him a lot recently. After you started. You just hadn't played anyone for ages, and then you just joined.
Yeah,
look at this noob.
I played whenever I had to promote my driller, I just played Gunner. So Gunner was Copper 3, I think maybe. So, but yeah, my driller was just sky high. But then it's it's just.
I'm just about to get all of mine to gold. My driller's max level silver 3, and I'm doing my promotion assignment right now.
It's just, and I think these are all things that are kind of tangentially connected to. Honestly, my biggest issue with the game is
Hold on, can I quickly acknowledge the fact that we were basically just flexing for half an hour?
Right, a little bit, but it's also not that big of a flex. It's inevitable, which is my point. The dwarves as a whole, characters and stuff, everyone is the same. You can build your character, you can make him look how you want, you can use what guns you want, but everyone is going to look like that and be like that at some point. Everyone can just do that, right? You are not special in any way, which I guess could be the point of the game. But
the only truly individual thing is the level.
It's more even then we obviously Lord of the Deep and it's the same numbers, but it doesn't at all represent how you play the game, how you enjoy it, right? You have a beard that is like a preset, like a gilded or all that, and it doesn't matter like that. And you've got your guns you like, but like
in your own title.
Oh, well, my scout's individual.
Yeah.
I can guarantee nobody has a scout like mine.
no,
No one would want to look like that.
Yeah, but even then, people could if they wanted to. They saw your thing, and they could copy it
they wanted
immediately.
to,
But
yeah.
like,
Copy your look.
but like,
Steal his look.
imagine if like, because like how you steal his look, have a paper crown.
I'm talking about the best scout.
I don't want to talk about that scout.
The gold one.
The gold skin that like everyone uses, the braids that everyone uses. You're not that original. You just put it all together and made the worst thing ever.
With the amazing Swanson tash.
Yeah, it's not the braids.
If you
First blood headwear.
if you want to fix this issue in like the simplest way possible, it would be our idea of adding the new cosmetic type of
Why is the scale
badges.
for the scout?
That's not even the simplest way possible. Honestly, right, Harry, you just kind of like mentioned it, like, but like maybe if you could like write your own title or something like that, or like title presets.
Well, the writing your own title thing, that's like I said, level 1000.
Yeah, I know, but like
Which
even
would
still,
be earned. Obviously,
yeah,
by that point.
and obviously you can't actually even see titles, so I won't do much. But more stuff like that, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess you could, like, everyone's got the same stuff,
Some
and
more
that's fair.
individuality.
But like, yeah, like the way I play the game and actually enjoy the most is I jump into 4-length egg HUDs and just kind of speed run them as quick as I can, because that just like I quickly want to do the events, right? Like that's how I like, cargo crate, core lock. Oh, cool. And if I sit in just one cave too long, I kind of get bored because like the events are spread out and all of that. So that's how I play the game.
Average millennial, average Gen Z attention span.
I'm not sure which Gen Z, right? I think we're Gen Z.
Yeah,
But
I think are we?
I'm pretty sure we're Gen Z. I think we did look this up a while ago.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately.
yeah, like if this like I'm not saying like tailored to me, but like I would want to put like maybe I don't know, cargo crate hoarder or some shit like that, because I've done like 1,000 cargo crates or shit like that. Like just some random titles or badges, something that commemorates the way.
I looked at that.
Yeah, the way that you play the game, right? If you love doing long Morkite missions, like it can be like I don't know, like I don't know, like Morkite God, complete like
solo missions and stuff.
Complete like
some funny ones.
Yeah, complete like 1,000 long Morkite missions,
and based on the bestiary as well. We talked about.
Yeah, like they are keeping track of like a bunch of stuff, so it's like
just when you killed a certain amount of swarmers or stuff.
Yeah,
or Praetorians or Wardens, just stuff like
in
that.
In that vein, I'd like to bring it back to the badge idea, which was this idea
which is our specific
we had.
idea.
Just to allow me to explain properly, it's like
in Apex when they have that Tyler. You show specific statistics, like when you've got a certain amount of kills in like the arena or in a season.
The badges.
And you can have badges. Yeah, the badges as well. And you can like have like a player card then, and also like cool banner frames. I'm not saying something that, but
no.
Just
that kind of
accessories.
Yeah.
Right. And this isn't
just let Harry talk here.
Yeah.
Please do. This isn't bent on them being given to you through specific milestones or stuff. The original idea we had was you would get like a badge it's like a picture of like a glyphid or something when you killed like 200,000 glyphid grunts, things along those lines. But that's not even what this idea relies on. To me, it's like they could just add a badge that's like just take every symbol in the game, like even like the mission symbols and the overclock symbols, all that crap, just put them somewhere for you to be able to unlock, and you could put as many badges as you want on your character, just anywhere you want, basically. So this would I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world, but it would add so much variety, like objective variety to the armor, that you could take as many badges as you can and put them anywhere you want that isn't like hair or skin. And that would make everyone who uses badges look different to everyone else in some way.
Yeah, and I think that's like the thing, because like I mean, I was thinking more like, I mean, badges is like the simplest form, right, of that, of visual customization depending on how you play the game.
Yeah.
Badges is like the simplest form, but I was even thinking like, this is also when we were talking about it, like actual kind of proper ones, like that are more substantial than a badge. Like if you've killed 100 Crassus detonators, you get a Crassus detonator head, which is like a mask you can put on, or some shit like that. Like stuff that isn't just unlocked by playing the game. I mean, it is obviously, but like actually doing something. And it's not something you're forced to do, but it's something like, yo, I've seen this head online. I really like the look of it. How do I get this? And it's like, 100 Crassus detonators. You kind of look forward to doing that. You know what I mean? Like, because I would argue at this point, right? Crassus detonators, we kind of get bummed out when we get one. We're like, oh god, we have to mine this.
Most I've encountered recently.
Yeah, but
You
like,
don't need the money.
don't need the money, and it's not worth the time, right? But if you know, it was a if we got like a cool ass looking headgear or armor gear or something like that.
We got head from it.
Like, yeah, if we got some head, then maybe it would be worth it. Stuff like that, just something that would like give more value to things.
Leveling up badges as well. Like there's the standard badge where you just
calm down.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Which is the same thing in Apex.
Upgrades the higher tier you get on it.
Yeah,
so
like the badge kind of gets.
You get something. You kill 200. You do.
Yeah, the 100 is just like a normal glyphid face. 1,000 it gets like a banner. There's a nice looking banner. Like 10,000, there's like some stars.
Just like there's like fire coming out.
If you kill
glowing,
if you kill 500,000 grunts, you can turn into a grunt.
Yeah. Well, hey, how many grunts have you killed? Do you think? I mean, you can probably look.
What do you mean? I don't need to think. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Bestiary grunts 431,000.
431,000.
I'm actually closer to 500,000 than I thought.
Yeah, so I think, like, even though I would not want to put a cap on it, you kind of reasonably have to. So if you were to have a badge that had like kill a million grunts, or like maybe
Jesus Christ.
Well, how unrealistic is that, Harry? There are people that has played far more than you, right?
Yeah, Tyler, there's like a couple dozen.
Yeah,
probably...
yeah, but that goal,
thing, though,
that goal.
Back to the levels thing.
It's not
I'm
triple digits the amount of people
800.
higher than Harry. We don't understand how much that is, how much Harry's played.
I know, but
Harry doesn't even understand it.
848, but I know that there are a couple people out there at least a couple who are legitimately at like 2,500, and they're like class icons are exactly the same as mine. That's just not right.
Sometimes because I join random
better,
games.
basically.
Yeah, join random games. Level 1,200, just identical to Harry, or like me
Like
even
that guy,
with my driller,
YouTuber.
like exactly the same. Yeah, and this guy could have prestiged him like 30 times after legendary, and I'm just getting away with, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, we're the same player level.
Can't keep running away with it. That guy, that YouTuber, you step in, that absolute psychopath who does nothing but use the same ammo efficient engineer build over and over again, and he's like level 3,000.
Harry just disconnected.
He did. He just disconnected.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties
yeah,
here. Harry's died.
Well, I mean, as bad as it is, I can't look at the time, and I don't know when we started, but I'm watching the footage, and I'm nearing the end of the footage. So
my English lesson started 16 minutes ago.
I did realise that. I think that time didn't quite add up.
I was going to go to that.
Yeah, so this is gone a bit long, but I think we'll wrap it up soon. But I think as much as I'm glad we said these things, I think they're probably gonna get their own.
Let's just wrap this up carefully. Harry has just
he's clearly struggling.
He's not. He can't join back or join in there.
I think the things we talked about. I think the customization thing I probably will do a video on, because that is something that needs to be put out there and not just tapped into like the second half of the podcast.
Because no one's going to see it, and we can.
As much as I used to think that, there are some dedicated people out there, and you know who you are because you're the only people that are hearing this right now.
We love you.
We do. You're the greatest around. Honestly, don't understand how you could watch this or watch this as lightly. You probably just listen to it, which is how it's supposed to be enjoyed. It's what podcasts kind of are. But yeah, I mean, thank you. We love you. Harry has come back to existence.
Whether or not he's here or not.
I'm making up.
Yeah. So I feel like he quit on purpose that time.
Yeah. He's kind of disrupting us now.
He is. Luckily, it's at the end. This is definitely a wounded down. I mean, that last topic was ended kind of abruptly, but I think we got the point across.
Remember to rock and stone. And by rock and stone, I mean like and subscribe.
Yeah, we got the point across a while ago. I think it's just that it
heats
does.
us. It's because it's not the best thing in the world to know that there's an end. And obviously there isn't an actual end to the game. You know what I mean? You can continue playing for infinite, but it's nice to know that your infinite is a lot better than everyone else's by having it be a visual. Like, if you see someone join into a game and it's like a legendary 37, you'll know that you're about to have your shit kicked in by the best player ever known. Which is, but currently you will never know that.
So, I was about to say, my goal over the course of my entire lifetime is to kill 1 million dreadnoughts. I don't think it's possible.
I think it's very possible.
Listen, brother, I've been playing playing this game for 4 years. I've killed 710 dreadnoughts.
Well, you've not played dreadnought missions every day, all the time, have you?
If you're actually trying and actually went after dreadnoughts every
but I'm
time.
not actually going to do that.
If you did like dreadnought missions,
Harry,
with like scout with the
it's harder now,
reload, where you can like one shot a dreadnought.
But it's harder now because it's not guaranteed normal dreadnoughts.
Yeah, but Harry, if you knew that there was a reward at the end of that path, you would be tempted. Wouldn't you? Imagine being the only person to have killed 1 million dreadnoughts, and you have that on your face. So you have like a visual representation that you are the motherfucker that killed 1 million dreadnoughts. People would go for that. These players that would just like kind of stop playing because they didn't really feel like doing anything would skyrocket.
Where, like only like 10 people would be able to get something.
That thing is, they don't like doing that,
God.
right? First of all, they want to make everything being able to use by everyone, but that doesn't mean that everyone's going to be able to get them, right? Some people are going to have the grit, the determination to kill that many motherfucking dreadnoughts.
If you kill 1 million dreadnoughts, you become Judge Dredd.
You become Kyle. That's what he did. I misspoke.
No,
Carl.
I like the Judge Dredd idea better. You are the Dredd Judge. You are Judge Dredd.
I just got it. I just understood what you were going for.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that difficult.
If you kill 1 million dreadnoughts, you unlock Dreadnought as a drink.
There we go.
Harry's amazing idea.
Bring back Dreadnought. I stole the idea from you by accident. I really thought I came up with that. I still think I did.
Clearly you don't. You wouldn't be apologising either.
Ages ago, I was talking to Tyler. The next day, Harry just comes up. It's just like, you know what? I've had an amazing idea.
I'm apologising in case I am actually wrong, but I don't think I am. I still think I came up with it independently. Even we both came up with it. Maybe it's possible. Just separately.
But. Yeah, I think an explanation as to what Dreadnought is for another podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We have been Barrel Vision.
Next week's podcast talking about drinks.
And with Future Rat, as known as Tom.
Me.
Yeah. He will or will not be in more. He is always here, just sometimes he's just not there. Yeah.
I'm always normally in the parties and stuff, just talking about it, but not being a part of it.
Yeah, because we hate him.
Oh, that has proven to be a factor.
Well, no, it's because you're just out doing things, like the things you should have been doing.
Like college or work or my girlfriend. I her a lot.
Can you not?
Is
Yes.
that inappropriate?
It's a child-friendly podcast.
Yeah, but I think our footage is very close to ending. So that is Rock. Remember, Rock is like
Give feedback.
Stone
on
is
whether or
subscribe.
not I should ever be in a video again.
Rock and
Please
Stone.
make it I should be.
Our vote is.
This is
that
very
doesn't-
important to Thomas. But yeah, like him, Rock and Stone, and subscribe.
Rock and Stone.
Rock and Stone subscribe.
Rock and Stone.
Rock and Stone subscribe.